who I
So
never
sweet.
hear about. He's so unproblematic.
He be chilling.
Prince,
He be chilling.
get on the couch. On the couch. Oh, I pressed mute and it didn't even do it.
No,
God
you
damn it!
He's like, Prince. We're
Like,
we
I
can
pressed
hear
mute. Because, like, you could see me, but that was okay because no one could hear me, I thought.
Prince, get on the couch.
Tristan.
I'm sorry.
Just
I
start.
really thought I pressed mute. I really
Start with her husband.
C-U-L-T-U-R-E 101 C-U-L-T-U-R-E. What's going on? What it is? What's happening? Welcome back.
Yeah.
That's right. Welcome black. Welcome to Culture 101, where millennials come to play and we move the culture forward and have a damn good time doing it all day. Every day
we do.
Let's talk about it. I'm one of your co-hosts. I'm Trist. I am posted up in New York, in Harlem to be specific, where it's black. You know, it's gentrified. There's a lot of white folks. But it's a good time. A lot of rain today, but that's all right. But I believe we're gonna start today in Maryland. And we're going to kick it right on down to Maryland.
Hey.
Sean, tell them what's popping. What's going on?
Hey, it's Sean the Don in the house representing the DMV for the crew. Y'all, I'm just so happy to be recording with y'all today. I don't know why I'm just in such a good mood, but I'm just so happy to be
here. It's that mesh shirt.
Only a little mesh. I can't show you
Ocean City.
Whatever, but
Oh,
Ocean City. Fuck Tristan.
Okay.
It's giving Miami. It's cute.
It is, girl.
It's
giving
Mykonos.
It's giving Mykonos. It's giving Mykonos.
It's giving Mykonos.
For the viewers that don't know, earlier we were talking about Sean's shirt, and I was just like, "Yeah, girl, it's giving Ocean City." She immediately was upset at me that I said that it was giving Ocean City.
Yeah, you had the wrong one.
She in her mind, what I said was that she smoked meth. Now that's not what I said, nor did I say any of those words. But that's what she heard. That's what she heard. They do have a problem down there. It's an epidemic. They need some.
Yikes.
They definitely do.
Yikes.
But yeah, Sean, what did you do this weekend? What's happening with you? What's going on?
So, y'all, I started a new season of soccer this weekend, and I quickly realized that I am so out of shape. Like, I had like 3 classes Saturday, 5 classes Sunday, and I have never been so tired. Yeah, just running back and forth with toddlers doing soccer was so fucking tiring.
Do you know what would give you more energy though?
What you say?
What?
Do you know what would give you more energy though?
What, a Red Bull? I don't know.
I was gonna say meth. I mean, you shunned it before. I feel like this is the time.
You know what, Tristan?
Full circle moment. Here we are.
Can I ask you a question, Sean? So now you're coaching these kids, you're doing soccer, that's fine. But like, are you like coaching them in matches? Like, do they have games and stuff? And you're like on the sideline?
On the technical skills.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
They play against each other. I do teach them a few technical skills. Very, very basic level, because that's all.
So when do you learn the technical skills?
That's what I'm asking a lot of these questions.
We have a curriculum actually, so I learn them as I teach the students.
All right.
We love it. We learn together.
I also keep in mind that most of my classes are 2 and 3 year olds. I have one class.
That's real.
So y'all learning together. Okay, that's cute.
So they aren't organized yet. They aren't like playing matches against each other just yet.
Right.
No.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
That's real.
That makes sense.
That's real. Okay. So you spent your weekend in soccer. Are you recovered now? Did you get in the cold tub?
Finally, yeah. It took me a whole nother day to recover, but yeah, I am.
It's at over 30, man. It takes a minute.
Them kids will wear you out. You got to be ready. You got to stretch. You got to get limber. Just like you're working out too. You got to get limber. It's but it's what it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Les, what you do this weekend?
So it's your girl Les, coming from Temple. My weekend was pretty chill. I caught up on some rest and some work that I needed to do on Saturday. Hung out a little bit on Sunday in Austin, and
back what was you doing in Austin? What was happening in Austin?
You know.
That's all you're gonna get out of her, folks. That's all you're gonna get out of her, folks.
Living.
You were by yourself in Austin. You were dolo. Oh, really? Dolo. Okay. It's funny how we be by ourselves in the same room with people.
Award. If there's ever a category,
living my life like a scolded. Right. Snitches get stitches.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh man, okay,
We
it's
keep it
good
play
time.
over here.
Wow, she got real Texas immediately. It came out. Look, we keep it play over here. Yeah, yeah. All right, okay, that's cool.
Anyway, enough about me, Tristan. What did you get into this weekend?
Oh my God, no, I didn't really do too much. I really did not. Like
You always say
honestly,
that.
no, because I was chasing dogs around most of the weekend. So a couple here, so that was nice. And honestly, was trying to catch up on work because I was behind on some stuff. But with the weather, we haven't had the greatest weather. Like today, it was over here half a monsoon. So that was that time. But weekend mostly was filled with tennis and not me playing tennis, me watching tennis, watching the
I
US
was like,
Open.
okay.
No. I've never quite figured out. I guess I haven't played enough, but like I feel like whenever I whack it, the ball leaves the court. The ball is gone. The ball is not coming back.
Like you'd be good at it if you like continue to practice and
the where I used to excel was I could chase down the balls. So there'd be stuff I could chase down. She might have. She may have said just that. I know I know it was. Just sitting there, low hanging fruit. Nothing wrong.
It was literally.
It's fine. But just now, I don't know. But it was a good time watching the US Open this time. But I went to the gym plenty, so that was nice. Did I do some skating? Oh, I did some skating. No, I did. I did do some skating. Yeah, that was a good time.
Nice.
Yes, of course. But I think the U.S. Open is an excellent segue for us to move right along because there's word on the streets this time. But this time the word is not just of the street, it's of the nationals, right? It's of all honestly, this is international. All eyes of the world will turn to the U.S. Open this weekend. And we have the lady that has the info right now, and she's about to drop it on you. So listen up. It's time for the Bulletin Board. Les, take it away.
All right. So in my Black Girls Rock news, last week we gave Coco Gauff a shout out during our Do It for the Culture segment because of how she handled herself, advocated for herself, and was doing so well in the U.S. Open. Now we have to sing her praises because she is the champion of the U.S. Open. This is her first one.
Yes, girl. Yes, girl.
Yes, at the tender age of 19. So honey is doing it at an early young age. I'm so happy for her. I thought it was so cute because I actually saw a video of when she was at the US Open back in like 2012. Mind you, she was what? I don't know, 10 or 11 at that age. Like she was young, like she was like jumping up in the stands, she was with her dad and stuff like that. And to like fast forward 11 years later, here she is winning it. I just thought that was such a cute full circle moment. And
I do like how after the match she went and found her father.
Yes,
I really like
all of her family.
Because her mama brought Leon to the match. That was wild.
Yeah, so okay. I was just about to say that because I saw that video where she was like hugging all her coaches after her family, and I was like, he looked like Leon. I went straight to the TikTok comments. Everybody was like, "Is that Leon?" That coach looked like Leon.
Leon was there the whole time. He sat beside her every match. Leon sat beside her mother.
So he's a family friend. But it was just so crazy because everybody was like, "Wait a minute, that man looked like Leon. That coach looked like Leon." It was so funny.
That man, that was Leon. That Leon was the whole time. And the commentators never shouted him out, which made me think they didn't know him.
They probably
Leon been this stuff. Look, this is Leon Town from New York.
But you know what it is? Like we've had this conversation before, where like there's a thing with like Black famous versus universally famous. You know what I'm saying? And yes, we know Leon from A Can of Paint. He's one of the best to do it, but it doesn't always translate to white viewership. I know Nia Long has even talked about this, stuff, and the whole Idris Elba comment about like being like named like a great Black actor versus just a great actor. So that's why I'm saying, like, they may not have known who Leon was, I
mean, that's real. I remember I was at a work thing and this lady, I was like, yeah, like Idris Elba. And she was like, who the hell is Idris Elba? And like, we were like, girl, what? What you mean, who is Idris Elba? As in like the sexiest man alive, the dude that's been in all these movies. Like he didn't save the Bifrost for you to disrespect him like this. Shit is crazy.
Right. So shout out to Coco once again. She defeated the number 2 seed who, forgive me if I mispronounced it, but I think is Rina Sabalenka. I don't know. I butchered that.
Sabalenka.
There you go.
She's actually the new world number 1 now, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, because of yesterday, after everything, Sabalenka now is the new world number one. I don't know Coco's
Where's
golf.
Coco? Yeah.
She rose. I don't know exactly where. Maybe she's number
Got
two.
it.
I don't know exactly.
Okay.
Taylor's
Got
rankings are
it.
weird. Taylor was trying to explain it to me. She ain't even
Yeah.
know. We had to look it up. The shit's weird. I don't know.
Okay. Well, she's in great company. I saw, a post where it showed that the last black woman who won was Sloane Stephens back in 2017. And then we had Serena and Venus who won several times. So she's in, great company there. And she actually became the 11th teenager to ever win a Grand Slam singles title. So again, shout out to
Youngest
Coco.
since Serena back in 2003. So Serena won. No, was it Venus? Was it Venus at 17 or was Serena? It was Serena. It was for sure Serena. Yeah, in 2003. Yeah. So 20 years since the teenagers won at the US Open. That's crazy.
Circle.
It really was. Really was.
That's beautiful. I'm so happy for her. And she just, sounds so humble. Like I saw a piece of a press conference that she did and they were asking her about like the pressure, of performing well and stuff like that. And she was like, of course, like it's pressure in a sense, she said, but when you put into perspective of like people have pressure trying to like find jobs, trying to put food on the table, trying to, keep a roof over their head. She was like, I'm in a privileged pressure type of situation. I'm like, come on, girl, you got a good reality around you. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Coco. Yeah,
she exudes grace and alacrity. I mean, with everything she does. We love Coco. Coco's great.
Yeah, we do.
Girl, if you want to come on the show, we would love to have you.
Please.
We're going to have some fun. We'll come to you. You just let us know. We'll come to you. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
We'll see if Leon can fly us out. Hey, Leon.
I mean, Leon's in New York, so I mean, we'll go to him. It ain't too far. I mean, we'll work it out.
All right. So moving along to my next story called Too Hot to Handle. This is a little bit of a downer. But have you heard of this one chip challenge? That's been like going on for a while.
My brother did the one chip challenge. He and his
he?
Yeah. So he's in the Air Force. So everybody like in his unit decided to do the one chip challenge. Most of them threw up. Most of them threw up because the chip was too hot. One of them took it, but like it was just crazy because it's not even so much just the eating, the burning. It's the once you digest it, it's so hot in your stomach. So yeah.
What the hell chip are y'all talking about?
It's called. Leslie should explain it. She'll tell you about the chip. Yeah, it's been out for a while. This challenge almost 10 years now. The challenge been around for a minute.
It's been out for a minute. So Pocky is the maker of an extremely spicy tortilla chip that's marketed as the one chip challenge. So basically right now what they're having to do is pull all of their chips from the shelves because a young boy died from doing this challenge. Yes. So
it's not their fault.
I mean, they created it though, and they're encouraging people to do this challenge. Not saying it's necessarily their fault, but like
poison too. If you drink it, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I would never do the one chip challenge, but so basically, the chips are sold individually. It's literally like just one chip that just comes in the packaging. The seasonings include 2 of the hottest peppers in the world, the Carolina Reaper and the Naga Viper. So Lois Woloba told NBC Boston that her 14-year-old son, Harris Woloba, ate the chip on Friday, September 1st. Then he went to the school nurse with a stomach ache. Then he later passed out at home that afternoon, and he was pronounced dead at the hospital later that day. So it took him out all within the same day. An autopsy has not yet revealed the actual cause of his death. But because of all this is getting a lot of like news attention, Pocky went ahead and said, they apologized. And they said that the challenge was intended strictly for adults, but they have seen an increase in teenage use of the product because, it's going viral. And you know how these TikTok challenges can be with kids wanting to, one up each other. And they said that they do care about other consumers and have made the decision to remove the product from its shelves. So prior to Woloba's death, Pocky's marketing dared people to participate in the challenge by eating a chip, posting pictures of their tongues on social media after the chip turned their tongue blue, and then waiting as long as possible to relieve the burn with water or other food. And they said this challenge has been around since like 2016, but it's gained a lot of notoriety over the last year. So I think they are responsible because 1, you create this chip, and 2, you encourage people to engage in this challenge. So it's like, you have a sense of responsibility to this young boy's death. Of course, he has free will, and he chose to participate and eat it. But
I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence too.
I want to say, yes, Leslie, there's a civic responsibility there. Sure. All right, fine. But like, you buy a gun and you shoot 5 people, I didn't tell you to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so many things that go along with it. You buy a car, you decide to drive through a crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's its intended use in some cases. Like, I mean, what's a battering ram for? You know what I'm saying? Like, and like the chip.
What does the autopsy say?
Right. Because I feel like once the autopsy report, because like now if he was allergic or something, or that's, you know what I'm saying, that's not really your issue. Or if the chip was just too hot and like the acid built up or whatever it was that killed him. Because I just feel like most times when the body gets something it doesn't like, you know, it will reject it. You'll regurgitate it. But again, everybody's body's different. So again, I'm not a doctor. I can't say exactly what occurred. But I just feel like the onus is not on Pocky. I just feel.
Not solely.
I just like maybe they created the space, but like you don't have to go in the space. Like,
True.
You don't have to go in there. Like I remember years ago, we were on a mission trip. We were down in Mexico. We were in Juarez, and there was this hot sauce challenge that my brother and I took part in. I think my brother didn't do it. Did he do it? I don't remember. But either way, like it was a cup full of hot sauce, and you had to drink the hot sauce. Now it clearly wasn't nearly as hot as this chip, and I did not have to participate in that challenge. But I was like, you know what, I'll do it, right? And my mouth was on fire for 20 minutes. And but I made that decision for myself for my mouth to be on fire. You know what I'm saying? And if something had happened, I'd just been like, well, you know. Now, in that case, the difference is my uncle.
Something bad happened.
Right. But the thing is that how would you have known? So many other people have done it and have been fine. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, are we moving this because potentially one person? I just feel like we don't get rid of cars. That kills more people than anything else.
Well, it wasn't just him. There were other people. I don't know if anybody else died from it, but of course, other people have had adverse reactions. Just like you said, like your brother and his crew, like people were throwing up and stuff. So the product's label actually warned that children, pregnant people, and those with underlying health issues, or anyone sensitive to spicy foods or allergic to them, or allergic to the chili peppers, should not, partake in the chip. People should seek medical assistance if they experience difficulty breathing, fainting, or extended nausea after having eaten the chip. The label also recommended that people who touch the chip, that they need to wash their hands immediately before like touching their eyes or any other parts of their body, because you don't want it to come into contact with that. The main health risk of eating Carolina Reaper involve vomiting, burning, or numbness in the mouth. And studies have also documented severe headaches from consuming the extremely spicy peppers, as well as in one case which a man vomited so much from eating the ghost peppers that he tore a hole in his esophagus. Damn. Yeah. So all y'all who may think about participating, like, please don't. Like, if you have and you survive, good for you, but I would not encourage anybody to give this a try. It's just too dangerous, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a YouTube channel and you're lacking on views, this is the time. But if that's not the case,
I don't want to be responsible for nothing.
Yeah, not at all.
Let me ask y'all this question, okay? Then we'll move on. So let's say that you were guaranteed 100 million views and 1 million followers if you ate that chip. So let's say that $500,000 is on the table.
All money ain't good money. It ain't worth it to me.
So I'm thinking about it now. She's like,
I don't like anything.
It's tax free. It's tax free now.
I probably would pass.
And I actually like spicy, but not with these risks that I've read about.
Honestly, I'm probably just gonna eat the stuff I need to eat ahead of time. I'm gonna keep some lemon juice around because they didn't say I couldn't squirt the chip first. I'm gonna squirt that bitch with lemon juice to try to Cadillac, and we're gonna.
No, that's not the challenge. The challenge is you just eat it. You don't get to put anything extra on it.
I'm doing a version of the challenge. We're gonna eat this. I'm gonna have the lemon juice from my mouth. It'll be fine. I'm gonna do it. I think I would do it. If the number was right, I would do it. Yeah, because I would. I'd take one for the team, absolutely, for sure.
I saw a TikTok video where it's like these two newscasters. One was a white man. The other girl was like
Nigerian. Yeah.
She was
Ethiopian. She was Ethiopian.
That's what it was.
That was what it was.
You saw that one? And so they did the challenge. He's over here like losing his mind. He's sweating. He's frustrated. She ate it. She's chilling because she's used to spicy food. She's like, I've been eating spicy food since I was like 2.
Well, that clip is especially hilarious because I'm certain there was some backstory there that we didn't have because
there was already some tension
because she set him up for failure.
Yeah.
He didn't seem like that office dickhead that was like, I'm this and that. And she was like, oh, word. Well, I have something
Let me
for
humble you.
Right. She was just like, and she ate the chip. She was like, yeah, here it's very spicy. He was like, yeah, it should be fine. And then she ate the chip like it was nothing. I mean, erased it.
Like it was a regular tortilla chip.
Just like it was a regular day. And this man's over here, like Leslie said, about to call for the Lord and his mother. Because
he was getting so frustrated with every word she said. He's like, please be quiet. Like, he was getting so mad. She was just like, oh, I'm good. Are you okay? You can drink some milk if you need to. He's like, no. Like, it was so funny.
And she looked glamorous while doing it too. Didn't mess up her dress or anything.
He was sweating. Amazing. Yeah, he looked crazy.
Hilarious. Y'all should look that clip up. That's a funny one. That's a funny one for sure.
All right. And in my last story, how the song go? Go crazy. Chris Brown and Slim Thug. I never knew the words. I just knew go crazy. I got what you need. I got what you need. That's
go crazy. Everything you do's amazing.
Amazing.
There it is.
I knew we would get there. So I titled this one "Go Crazy" because I don't know if y'all saw. It was going viral on Instagram. But last week, YSL Polo who is a member of, Slim Thug's YSL affiliation. He was convicted of a murder he committed in January 2020. The Atlanta rapper was caught on camera shooting and killing Xavier Orlando Turner at Old National Village Discount Mall in College Park, Georgia. This adds to his existing life sentence for another murder from 2019.
God damn. So he's already locked up.
Oh,
okay.
So the rapper's real name is Cordarius Dorsey. He was denied parole in a case, and his sentence for Turner's murder has yet to be decided. But prosecutors reportedly believe that he will be handed another life sentence. So I'm putting this in here because the video is so crazy. So this comes just a week after YSL Polo was seen looking crazy while in court. So a video showed him like jerking his head and his arms in a weird manner while
crazy.
He was trying to play crazy to plead insanity. He was like,
I thought he was like tweaking, like he would take some drugs or something.
No, he was trying to, play the insanity card to see if he could like either have like a mistrial or they go easy on him because he was trying to like show that he was like, and he was like doing all this extra stuff, like ridiculous. So his attorney, Brian Steele, who's also Young Thug's attorney, was like visibly confused because he's like, you was just fine the other day. Now you acting like this. So as a result of YSL Polo's odd behavior on August 30th, Brian Steele, the attorney, requested that he be separated from the other YSL defendants so Young Thug could receive a fair trial because, as we know, he's still in jail waiting his trial. So in a quote, he said, Mr. Dorsey, a inductee, has displayed unprofessional and unacceptable conduct in court in the presence of this honorable court. So jury selection for the YSL RICO case was put on hold while this murder case got wrapped up. So now that that's handled, that's probably going to go ahead and proceed. So it's already September, so it's probably be next year, I feel like, before we see anything happen with Young Thug's trial. So I'll keep y'all posted on that. But I just thought that was so like ridiculous. I'll have to send you all the video, but I'm like, he tried it. He tried it. But I mean, I don't know. Would y'all try to look crazy to maybe plea insanity or get like a lighter case? Like,
hell yeah,
absolutely.
I'm in there hitting my
absolutely. He didn't do it right.
Table, whatever.
Because if you want to do insanity, you got to start that shit like in the jail.
Early.
Like you need to bite 5 people. You need to cover yourself in your own shit. You
I'm
need to
biting pencils. Fuck that.
As soon as you're arrested. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He should have got naked in the courtnroom, pulled his dick out, just whatever, like whatever you could do. Just seriously.
That would have locked him up real quick.
I'm crazy. The fuck? That nigga, clearly I'm crazy. Like whatever you could do to get, like he should have started cleaning his toes in court, something. Just something. Just like you're gonna be crazy. Like you doing this is not enough. You over here, you look like you are on smack. You need to do something else.
Yeah, it was crazy. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Like he should have came with half his head shaved and stuff. Like anything.
Something.
You should have put some lipstick on, something. Just look crazy.
If you're gonna do it, you gotta go all the way. You gotta commit.
You do. He should have wet himself. Like I can't do nothing. I can't.
Yeah.
Like I would have just gone over the top. I would have started convulsing. Like it would have been. You would be like, oh, that nigga crazy. That nigga's crazy.
I cannot.
He is crazy. Like I would have tried to kiss my attorney. I'd be like, anything. You need to look crazy.
They would throw you back in the jail cell.
Right. But he's like, that man is crazy. get him in the mental institution, and then it would have been fine. He's like, I think they bought it, bro. I think they bought it.
But then he gonna be in a mental institution, really getting messed with. So I don't know if it's gonna be much better.
Because at least in that case, I have my wits about me, so I can maybe escape or something. We can figure something out.
And then all you gotta do is prove that you're no longer crazy to get up out of there. So then you good.
I feel like it ain't that easy though.
No, because then they're gonna take you. No, but they're gonna take you back to jail at that point because you're serving a life sentence. So your best bet at that point is to try and escape. Because the thing is that he just doesn't want to go to like a maximum security prison. That's really what this is about. He's trying to get.
Did you see that prisoner escaped by like crab walking between two walls?
Yes, I did. I low-key thought that was gonna be one of the stories because I was like, "Yo, my man who escaped jail," and then so like this happened in New York too. Like, and Lord. I was like. So then Taylor, I was like, well, brother, because like, me, I love anybody with somebody escapes. I love escape movies. I love people escape. And I was like, what's he in jail for? I think it was for like stabbing a nun or something.
No, it was murder of his girlfriend.
Oh yeah, he like stabbed her like a bunch of like 30 times or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he like stabbed her 30 times. I was like,
find him and send him back. Yeah.
Immediately,
expeditiously.
but like he crab walked up the thing and then got through like 3 things of barbed wire.
Yes.
It was insane.
How, Sway?
Because the nigga wanted to be free. He wanted to be free. I appreciate that initiative. Like because he did that, I feel like
he innocent.
Right. Take the initiative not to kill nobody.
I don't, but then it made me ask the question. I had to ask this question. Well, what's she do to her?
Oh, Lord, not victim blaming.
I'm not victim blaming anybody.
That's victim blaming.
No, because the thing is that no one is absolving him. Like, we're not going to excoriate him of any misdoing.
He probably broke up with him or didn't want to be with him.
Mm-hmm. No, I just want to know what it was. Like, did she fuck his homie? Like, what happened? I'm curious.
Gotta be that.
I don't know because
I bet it was she just didn't want to be with him anymore.
Because it was 30. Because you stabbed her 30 times. It wasn't like you just stabbed her once.
People are crazy, Tristan. People are fucking insane.
They are. I just feel like human beings always move with a motive. Like nobody is the Joker. The Joker is like you know what I'm saying. Like
no, it's some crazy people out here who are like the Joker.
But like they're moved by power and stuff like that. At least that's the serial killing. Like this was a crime of
that guy that hit that woman in the face with a brick because she wouldn't give him her phone number. Like people,
I heard about that, but then I've been seeing stuff like she's a scammer because she's done other stuff in the past to like hurt, like purposely like harm herself to like put up a GoFundMe and collect money. So I need to do more research on that before we like fully discuss that. Cause I was just looking at that yesterday.
I don't know. I don't believe that.
That's crazy.
I understand that there are always going to be some anomalies and things of that nature. I just feel like the majority of folks like have like even if they go crazy, something drove you to that point. And I'm just kind of curious as to what that trigger was.
Yeah, your mama.
Maybe we could help somebody. Maybe we can help somebody else. Shit, we need to know. I need to know what's going on. You stabbed her 30 times, bro. Like once wasn't going to do it. You needed to make sure 30. That's a lot.
What was the quote? I heard a quote. I was watching some kind of crime show, and they said, "Never try to understand." It was either like a murder or a crazy person's like reason why or mindset, because once you do, like you become like crazy or something like that. But in a sense, they were just like people want to know, like, oh, why? What drove them to do this, or why did they do this? I was like, well, getting to that point where you understand that may in turn like make you like more so like them or something like that. It was said more eloquently to where it made more sense, but I was like, huh, that's interesting. Like sometimes there is no rhyme or reason.
If I'm really concerned, I need to go become a detective, a forensic psychologist or something. That's what you're saying. That's what I'm hearing you say. Like if you're really this
or you can play one in a movie.
Yeah, but I won't get the details for this case though. I want the details of this case.
We can do more research and report back next week. But yes, that's a great segue. That's all I have for this week's bulletin. So I'm just keep my ear to the street and report back next week. Pew, pew. Okay, Pistol Pete.
Hey, it's your girl, Sean LaDon, and you're now listening to Culture 101 Podcast. You can find us everywhere you find your podcast. We're even on YouTube, so check us out, like, and subscribe.
Hello, and welcome back. So today, oh my gosh, we have a wonderful topic, something that seems to be in the minds of millions and millions and millions beyond that. And for whatever reason, the way it creeps in is like no one can really tell you what the origin of it is. But today we have some people that are going to try and help and explain and maybe help you in your situation if you're having the same issues. So yeah, you guys were talking about imposter syndrome. And Leslie, I believe you have a whole litany of research on the subject for us. But today joining us, guys, before we get into that, a friend of the show and another guest of the show. First time on Culture 101, by the way. She is at Duke University right now, the lovely, the just immutable talent that she is in psychology. Please give it up for Ms. Dr. Jenika Hardeman. Please make some noise for her, goddammit. Make some noise for her.
Thanks for having me. Thank you. Very glad to be here. Honored to be a guest, of course.
So technically your first time on Culture 101, which we rebranded to, but you are a returning guest to our podcast overall. So again, we thank you once again for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. We really do. So Leslie, tell us more about imposter syndrome. You know, let's create the space to help. Let's create that space. Let's do it.
All right. So I am no, professional expert, but I love to do my research on things that we bring to this podcast. So when looking up the definition for imposter syndrome, it is a cognitive distortion that causes individuals to feel anxious and doubt their skills and accomplishments. They question their history and track record and question others' high regard for them. This condition often results in people feeling like a fraud or a phony and doubting their abilities. Now, in further research, I discovered that there are 5 types of imposter syndrome, according to BetterUp.com. The perfectionist is someone who is always hungry for more success, for better outcomes and higher prestige. The superwoman or superman, or in today's day and age, super person, thrives in showing off their ability to take on a lot of work quickly. The natural genius is someone who thrives on being quick and slick and getting things done. The soloist is someone who is just not interested in getting support from others as they do their work. The expert feels the compulsive need to have all the knowledge and experience before attempting the job. The noticer is someone who can't be proud of their work or themselves because they immediately notice things that aren't perfect. And the discounter automatically rationalizes away evidence of their competence, achievement, or high regard. That was actually more than 5. That was actually 7. So 7.
It did seem like more, but I was like, it's a prime number. We're gonna let it go. It's fine.
You and your prime numbers.
It's fine.
But yes, so that's what I discovered during my research. Now, my question to you, Dr. Hardeman, is: have you ever experienced?
Could you say that just one more time, Dr. Hardeman? I like the way that sounded. Say that one more goddamn time.
Dr. Hardeman, yes, Ph.D. Put some respect on her name, okay?
Absolutely. That's
She's
right.
done the work to achieve the thing, so we want to respect that. So my question to you is: have you ever experienced imposter syndrome yourself?
Oh, yeah. I was listening to your list of the different categories like, dang, all these sound like me. It's crazy. I think more lately, though, it's been probably more of the expert subtype. But that's probably due to being like in the beginning stages of my career, not that long out of school. So still feeling like a perpetual student. I was just talking to another resident about this afternoon, actually, and she was talking about how even though we've graduated our programs, right, and now, I mean, at this point, we've been working with our patients in the field for years, but we're still trainees, still have supervision, still have to get things signed off on things. And it's funny because she's an MD and she's been practicing medicine or whatever for years, but like I'm her supervisor now.
Oh, wow.
But that's because we're doing therapy and they don't get training in therapy. So it's like there's always this ever moving goalpost. And she was telling me that she just found out that as residents, they used to have to take recertification boards every 10 years, which I didn't know. Did you know our doctors had to take recertification boards like every 10 years?
I didn't know that.
I've heard it in some places. I didn't know that was universal thing. Is it universal?
Well, no more.
Oh wow. Okay.
They'll have to read articles and like answer questions, that kind of stuff. So more like continuing education credits like everybody else in other fields. But the point is, we were talking about this ever moving goalpost and how like my exams, they have exams too that they still have to take. And so it's like it's kind of built into the system for us to feel like imposters because
Mhm.
it's like they never trust you to just do what they train you to do for years.
Mhm.
For years. So
yeah, I can understand that. As I'm looking at this list that I just rattled off, I feel like I too would identify with the expert and the superwoman / noticer. I feel like I would be kind of like each of those three. I'm curious, Tristan and Sean, what would you identify as on this list?
As soon as you said it, I knew I identified with the soloist. Like, I really don't believe in getting help from anybody. So, which good, bad, whatever. I've always been like that. Mm-hmm.
Even in school, or even if you feel like you may not know all the things, you still feel like I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna just do it on my
I'm gonna
own.
figure it out. I've always figured it out, and things always work out. I'm a firm believer that things always gonna work out. So, and they just happen to have been working out. Sometimes
That's some dirty ENT shit. We got. That's what that is. That's some dirty ENT shit.
Well, Tristan, what would you identify as?
It depends on what day it is. But I'm gonna go with the natural genius just because I feel like things come quickly to me sometimes. Like a lot of times. But I just feel like if it's not coming quick, I'm upset. Like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what are we doing? Like, is my brain dying? Like, there was a day where I really thought, like, I'm just losing brain cells some kind of way. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Clearly, I'm not retaining it. So it will bother me. But then there are days where I feel like it'll be, what's the other one? The discounter for sure. Because I feel like it could be better. Like, that's always just like, it could be better. So, it just depends. It really depends on what the day is, though.
I get that.
Yeah.
Looks like Tristan may have a little bit more research for us.
Now, research has shown that imposter syndrome comes from a combination of factors. One could come in family environment, growing up in possibly the household that wasn't necessarily supportive in certain aspects, or, people just being overly critical, or making sure that things are like really emphasized achievement. Like, if you did this, then this is what was going to happen if you didn't achieve those goals. You have social pressures, being a part of a social circle, perhaps, group approval, of course, that sense of belonging. I feel like that's probably one of the most popular ones, just off the top as I'm looking at it. But Jenika, let me ask you this question. Do you think that upbringing is a factor in why you might have experienced imposter syndrome?
yes. I made that face because I'm thinking whether or not it had more to do with feeling unsupported in my family of origin, or if it was a combination of not having access to people who have achieved the things that I wanted to achieve, and not having models of that, either like in media or like in books that I was reading or things like that. I didn't know any Black psychologists at all, like at all. And in
Like, were you
fact,
even aware that it was a field? Like, when you were younger, like, was there even a time where you were like, I could be a psychologist? Like, it even just thought to you, like, just even to work in that field?
I actually didn't want to be a psychologist growing up. I wanted to be a lawyer. And actually, that's not true. What I wanted to be was the first Black female Supreme Court Justice of the United States.
Oh, wow.
I didn't want to be a lawyer, but you have to be a lawyer,
to become a judge. Yeah, I got you.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And I'm good at arguing. So I was like, I can do that. No problem.
I'm here for it.
But I didn't know any Black attorneys. I didn't know any Black judges. Like, I didn't know any of that. And it wasn't until I got into high school and I was in a unique type program in high school where we did some pre-college work. And part of that work was I had to do an externship, and it happened to be at one of like the local judges' offices in Dallas, and he was a Black man. So it was like the first Black judge I knew, Black attorney that I knew. And I was like, oh, if like Judge Moyer can do it, then I could definitely do this. Like, I never doubted that I could be the first Black female Supreme Court justice. But I didn't know anybody who had any kind of dream like that that had anything in common with me.
Could even put you on that path or even talk to you anything about that. No, I
Didn't
got
even
you.
know. Didn't know. And mind you, I got inspired to be a lawyer because I like watching Law and Order.
Oh yeah.
I was just about to ask you, what was your first law influence? That was literally my next question. Law and Order. Who was it? Who was the
whole
person on there?
franchise.
Oh, that's
so
real.
I watched the regular one. I watched SVU. I watched Criminal Intent. They used to have one called Trial by Jury.
I remember.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I remember.
That's Trial by Jury.
Okay. Major Crimes. Like they have a bunch of different ones. And now, they got the new one with Stabler, the
The spinoff, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow, do you just have Dick Wolf speed dial? Do you call him? Like, do y'all hang out on the weekend or?
I actually don't fuck with Dick Wolf, honestly. Like, once I learned about who he is as a person and like what inspired Law and Order, shame.
You gonna have me doing
He's a white man. Like,
I'm curious. Could you give us a taste?
So this whole the Law and Order actually has shaped a lot of policies across the country. Actually, so like a lot of this stuff about stop and frisk. And they like to take current events and like put a spin on them kind of thing. Like I'll never forget when they had the episode and it was not supposed to be about Chris Brown and Rihanna, but it was about Chris Brown and Rihanna. And he ended up killing her.
Yeah.
So
they even did the Diddy nightclub thing. Do you remember that one?
They
did that one, and like they kind of absolved J-Lo of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at that episode, like but then in that one, like the guy who played Shine died. Who would have been Shine? Yeah,
it's a mess. But he perpetrates like the idea that like the reason why people understand I'm not going to say the reason. One of the reasons why people understand what they stand about the criminal justice system in America is because they base it off shows like Law and Order. And the problem with shows like Law and Order is it's not based off of reality.
Not at all.
Right.
It's severely dramatized. And it also, it's written by, it was a white man show who idolized like cops. Like he thinks he has blue blood. Like Dick Wolf thinks that he's in the police brotherhood. So you can just imagine.
Does he fund the police unions? That would explain a lot.
He has great support from them. Okay. Like he thinks that he's a police officer. It's that bad.
No wonder SVU been on 25 years. Good God.
Right.
Makes a lot of sense.
Now they actually took more control over that show and that narrative because Mariska wasn't having that shit.
I feel that.
Yeah,
they can actually do stuff like, Black Lives Matter and things like that.
This is a great segue actually to the next question. So you talk about recognizing a lot of those motifs in the show that you feel that are, ill-advised for what's going on. So really the next question is, how do you best recognize imposter syndrome inside yourself? And then in others, of course, and then how do you navigate through those thoughts and those feelings?
I think that, imposter syndrome is one of those things that's best identified when you self-identify. I think it's hard to tell somebody that they have imposter syndrome because it's like holding up a mirror, right? They're not gonna see what it is that you see. But I think that it's like what I tell a lot of my patients whenever we deal with cognitive distortions. Hey, Leslie, that's the thing. When we deal with cognitive distortions, what you want to do is you want to check the facts. You want to check the facts. So like you might feel like, you don't deserve to be in your program, or like maybe everybody else got there off of merit and maybe they've chose you because you're the diversity hire, right? Or let in or whatever. But you have to look at what you bring to the table, what you have to offer compared to what everybody else has to offer. And if you compare, then there's no reason to feel like you don't belong there, that you're not there based off of merit. And so that's what I mean by like checking the facts. It's one thing to have feelings. It's another thing to just accept those feelings as if it is fact.
But let me ask a question though. So like, let's say it's one of those times where you do check the facts and the facts don't, they're not adding up to you, or like folks around you see that like, bro, that's just what it is. But you're like, no, they have this, they have these things, you know what I'm saying? And you feel like you still don't have, you know what I mean?
I would argue that you're missing something because there's no way you would be in that position if you didn't have something to bring to the table. Like as much as we being whites, like to think that a lot of us get in because of, diversity hires and things like that, affirmative action and all of that. it's because they hate to admit that, like, as much as they have tried to stop us for generations from being the shit, we still are. We still are. And so they try to diminish that. And it's like, you have to recognize that, first of all, your imposter syndrome is not coming from within. It's not coming from within. It's a result of all of these different messages that you're getting from society about who you are and who you're supposed to be, what kind of person you're supposed to be, right? And yes, like, it varies based off of which messages you give credence to, which ones you listen to. But until you are old enough to have like that discernment to know which ones to listen to, it's hard to tune those things out. So you kind of listen to them all.
Listen, I just think about the fact that favor ain't fair. So if you somewhere, you're supposed to be there because God put you there. Point blank, period.
It's destiny, people. Do you hear it? Do you hear it? Dr. Hardeman has spoken. You need to listen.
Let me tell you something. Ain't no reason why I should be Dr. Hardeman. I can tell you that right now. Ain't no reason. It's, in fact, several reasons why I shouldn't be.
It ain't no reason.
There's several reasons why I shouldn't be where I am today. Several reasons.
Do you care to share, or? I'm just curious. And I'm also curious as to how you switched from wanting to be a lawyer to a psychologist. I wanted to dig into that a little deeper.
Well, now that story is simple. So that program I talked about doing in high school, part of the one I decided to do was advanced social sciences. So exposed us to all of the social sciences: sociology, political science, law, psychology, anthropology, all of that. And learning a lot was boring. It was very boring. And I was like, this job,
it definitely can be.
Like, it seemed like a lot to put up with just to be, you know, the first Supreme Court justice. It's like I have to do so many things for so long that I don't really want to do that. And what I really found myself interested in is like, why do people do fucked up shit to people? That's really what I wanted to know. Like, why is it that? Because people have to know that that is a fucked up thing to do. So why do they still do that? And I get like the whole victim mentality complex, like a victim gets victimized and then they do it to themselves. But what about the first victim? Like, that person didn't start off as a victim. What about that person?
Right.
So that's really what got me into it.
Okay.
But to answer the other question, I think it has a lot to do with why I did struggle with imposter syndrome for as much as I did throughout grad school. Because growing up, like, I did get messages about not being good enough and how I wouldn't be anything and how I would just be this and that. And so speaking to like those messages you get, it's one thing to get them from society. It's another thing to get them from the two people that created you.
Oh yeah. That's tough.
And talk about learning discernment in that regard and like how to tune out those messages and which ones to give credence to versus ignore. Right. So it takes a certain level of self-awareness, but also a certain level of discernment to be able to overcome something like imposter syndrome, because society is going to always have these negative things to say about us. Always.
Right.
It's interesting that like the answer to the question is to keep on living a lot of times. You know what I mean? Like, it's like for younger viewers that are tuning in that may not have experienced this yet, keep on living, it'll happen. And if you keep on living, you'll live past it. You'll be able to get right on through it. So
I used to hate getting that advice when I was in my mid-20s. Like, I used to hate it because the thing is, I knew that y'all were right. Like, I knew it was going to get better if I keep living, because I had lived long enough to know that things don't stay bad, trouble don't last always type stuff. But it was also like, but I'm alive right now. Like, why can't it be okay right now? Like, you don't get none of these days back. None of them.
Yeah.
So what about when the trouble has lasted?
Well, we still in the midst of it, child.
Okay, when it's still raining, what am I doing? Hold the umbrella.
They want your skin to be moisturized. You're gonna be moisturized.
I guess
gonna hold a lot of moisture. It's gonna be good times.
Are your parents proud of you now?
Yeah, I would say yeah, probably. I know my mom is proud of me. the other nigga I can't speak for. I think that he's mostly proud because he gets to brag. Like he get to be like, oh, I got a daughter, it's Dr. my last name. It's just like, nigga, please. Like it's just a name. Like honestly, if it didn't kind of make me sound like a thug, I would change it. But it's Dr. Hardman. Like what?
Yeah, don't get no harder than that.
Okay, literally.
Already
literally. Right. But I'd say yes, I know my family is proud of me, like really proud. And something that just happened yesterday, actually, one of my nieces, she's going to be 17 in November. So she's starting to look at colleges and like career and stuff like that. I know, right? And she was just telling me that she's trying to decide between 3 fields, being a vet, being a psychologist, and damn, what was the third one? I got so caught up on the psychologist part. I was like, oh, because I didn't know she was considering that.
She knows someone in that field that she can.
So I was telling her, I was like, I'm just so glad that like I can actually give you some advice and guidance. Like I really wished that I had a person that I could talk to about these things, but it's like you have like your aunt, like it's like right now doing this shit. So it's like I can actually tell you, like, and not just tell you, I can help you. I didn't have nobody to help me.
I love that for her. That's sweet.
Let me use this time. This made me just think about something. Jenika is always the plug. I have had students that reached out to me and told me that they wanted to do psychology. And I've given them Jenika's information, like, hey, this is somebody that you can reach out to. And she's always like, yeah, let them know that they can reach out to me. I'm willing to talk to them about anything. And that is just, it just always makes me so happy. And what you just saying that about your niece just made me think about that. Like, I just love that we are that generation now that can provide those experiences that we didn't get. Like, do they even still do like career fairs and college career days and stuff at school?
They do, yeah.
They do.
I feel like they be having
but
very
it's a little different.
Well, not at the schools I went to. We never had one. And if I've ever heard of one, they had very generic career paths, which everyone in the same town is doing, and it's not really that open for other opportunities. Like you wouldn't see someone with a Ph.D. in there talking to the students, you know?
For real. Like I'll fuck around and be at El Centro still. And there's nothing wrong with community college or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? In hindsight, like, it probably would have saved me a lot of money if I'd have did that first. Get the basics out the way. Because you know, how they cheap. How they cheap.
Side note, Howard tuition is now $55,000. I said, what?
Tuition? Wait, tuition, not like cost of attendance, just tuition.
No, that's probably with dorm stay. That's with dorm stay.
Yeah, with everything. Because you know it was around like 32 when we were there, and now it's like
was 40. It was
40 when y'all.
It was a smooth.
It was 32. 2008. It was 32.
Yeah.
It's a smooth 40.
But see now, if Howard is 55, how much is American or GW now? That's got to be
way
even
too
more.
much.
Like per year, because GW was the most expensive school in America, and then American was when we were there. So that's just imagine what they are now.
Yeah,
70 something a year, 80
is $17,000 for the year.
Who?
Temple's
really?
Is $17,000 for the year in state.
I didn't know that. And Temple's a really good school.
It is.
And they have the nerve to call it the black school.
I mean, just because they got a strong black student union.
I mean, they do have quite a few
brothers and sisters. The 2% black population that they talk about. I said, girl, if you don't shut the
I mean, when
they have such a presence on the campus.
Granted, whenever I was there hanging out at Temple, I did see hella black folk. But then again, like
that's
in the presence of a bunch. But I was about to say, it was still in the presence of a bunch of white folks because there would still be a bunch of white frats and stuff there.
Right.
So. Yeah. But I just wanted to also put out there for the listeners that invitation goes for anybody also. If y'all want advice or guidance, whatever, I'm with it. Hit me up.
I love that.
Okay. Sean, tell us about the characteristics of imposter syndrome. I feel like you know. I don't know why. I just feel like you do.
I was just about to get into that. So we've definitely touched on a few of them, but I want to list some of the ones that my girl Leslie, doing her great research, came up with. So we have self-doubt, undervaluing contributions, Attributing success to external factors, sabotaging self-success, setting unrealistic expectations, continuous fears of not living up to expectations, and burnout. So I know we've touched on some of them, but how do you guys feel about that list?
Hey guys, what's going on? It's your main man Trist, and you are now tuned in to Culture 101.
Do you feel like
it's exact.
Yeah,
It's exact.
I struggle with quite a few of those, honestly. Like, imposter syndrome is so real. And I remember, like, talking to my therapist about it. And basically what Jenika touched on earlier, those, like, you know, negative self-talk that you do. My therapist used to say, just ask yourself, like, who said you can't do this? Who said you had to have accomplished this by this age? Who, like, what are these unwritten rules that say your life has to align in such a way to where if it doesn't, you slip into like depression or frustration or anger. And like, you know what I'm saying? It's like it paralyzes us to just honestly stay in such a dark place because we feel like, our life hasn't turned out like this or we haven't accomplished that. So I had to really like dig deep, especially like being in the pandemic. That's when like everything you've been kind of like burying just really came to light because you couldn't go anywhere. You had to sit with yourself and sit with those feelings, and you realized a lot of stuff about yourself. So yeah, I think just about all these in some way, shape, or form I've gone through, I've experienced for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say that I think that that one about attributing successes to external factors. I hope the crowd don't get me for this, but I think that I would argue rather that being taught to be humble and probably also some part religious kind of instills in us to attribute our successes to external factors and not ourselves.
Correct.
And so I think in some ways it kind of engenders like that preset for the imposter syndrome, because it's like, you're supposed to be grateful for what you got because of God, not because you so smart or you so, whatever. Even if that is the case. And so when you do achieve things, I think it makes sense for us to then be like, is it because of me? Like, did I do something to do this? Or was I gifted this? Was it bestowed upon me or something like that, And I will argue that two things can be true. I think it can be true that God blessed you to have that thing, but also blessed you to have those skills and like those attributes to be worthy of the attribute or thing that you've been bestowed upon or whatever. But I don't know. What do y'all think?
I feel like you've seen The Clone Tyrone and you enjoyed it just like I did.
I've seen that movie so many times, Tristan. Like,
it's good as shit, man. It's good as shit. It's so good. Man, I'm telling you, I was in a cold sleep. I mean, I was dozing off. And when I started sleeping, there's just no stopping that train. But this movie woke me up. I was up. I was like, this is something special right here. Fan the fucktastic. Love it. Love it. But I agree with everything you said, though. Absolutely. I mean, I feel like those archetypes get set. And then once that's in your brain, it's really hard to shake yourself of that. So, I mean, whereas you're right. If some of those things are true, enjoy the miracle. Roll with it. Enjoy the miracle. Move on. Move on.
Can you touch on like burnout for a second? Because I feel like we live in such a hustle till you die culture, or you can sleep when you die. You gotta grind. You gotta have 16 side hustles. Yeah, to where like if we relax or if we're not doing anything, we feel guilty because we're not doing something productive. We're not working. We're not making $1. So can you touch on like burnout as one of those characteristics of imposter syndrome?
Not me, girl. I'm all about living slow. Like, what?
Come on, soft life.
No, ma'am. But I think that's probably because I did school for so long. For so long, it was always like constant, and I used to feel like all the time if I'm not doing something, there's something I need to be doing. There's something I should be doing because there's always things to be done. Exactly. And to be honest, that's still the case to this day. But like, I'm quick to be like, that shit can wait till tomorrow. And I don't know if that's because,
get somebody else to do it.
And, prefrontal cortex finally finished developing. So I'm just like, that shit is not a big deal. I can, executive function, put that shit out the mind until I have to worry about it. Or if, I don't know if I'm just tired, but what I can
that
say
should be
is
the main
burnout
reason.
is a very real thing. Like it really is. And I think that probably because I do a lot of trainings with staff on burnout and secondary traumatic stress, because one of the things I do at Duke is work with the Department of Social Services staff who work with youth who literally don't have places to live, are living out of the DSS office. So you can imagine those people are burnt the fuck out. And so having to spend so much time giving them advice about how to slow down and how to not take work home and how to put everything in its place. It's oftentimes being discussed, being compartmentalized is a bad thing. And I think that it actually can be a strength if you know how to use it. So I'm a psychologist, y'all know this. I hear about really bad traumatic things all the time, but I can't take that shit home with me. It's not mine. It's not mine. Does it suck? Absolutely. I had a 12-year-old kill herself 2 weeks ago. Awful, awful, awful thing. But I can't carry that with me every day. You know what I mean?
Right.
I held space for her, and I put it to the side. Now my job is to help her brother. So that's what I'm focused on. So it's about I think being able to compartmentalize and being able to separate what the shoulds are. So much like your therapist was telling you, Leslie, who said it should be that way, right? Try to get rid of those shoulds because you really have to deal with what is.
Oh, that's powerful. That's a word right there.
That was a word right there.
Indeed.
We need to use that one.
Okay.
Yeah. So speaking of those shoulds, someone argued that social media is the cause of those shoulds.
Well,
how do y'all feel like social media impacts imposter syndrome?
Hey y'all, it's your girl Les, 1/3 of the Culture 101 podcast. We want you to stay locked in for more content coming to you soon. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone. And now it is time for another segment of Do It for the Culture. Do it for the culture. Do it. Shauna Don, take it away.
So this week, all we are talking about is the beautiful, the chocolate Kelly Rowland, also known as Calendria Rowland.
Come on, Calendria.
Yes.
Her name is Calendria. I don't know if I knew that till just this moment.
Yes,
that is her name. And the beautiful Kelly Rowland accepted the Fashion Icon of the Year award during New York.
Well deserved.
Talent and award show. And we all know Kelly Rowland is always serving a look.
Always.
And this award was so special because she was presented the award by her husband, Tim Weatherspoon. So Kelly Rowland's husband, Tim Weatherspoon, called her his real life chocolate Barbie. And I just love them too because as a couple, they are just so unproblematic.
Love it. So cute. And after he said that, they gave a hug and a kiss, and she said, "I love that black man." I said, "I am here for this." Come on.
Their black love.
Their camera work is awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
Super cute.
In her acceptance speech, Kelly Rowland said, "My history with fashion actually started, I'm not sure a lot of you know, but with Destiny's Child. That little slight flex was so cute. We were four very country girls from Texas talking very loud. It was just very different. So designers were very reluctant to dress us. They ain't dress us at all, to be honest. So Tina took matters into her own hand and dressed us. And by Tina, she's talking about Tina Knowles, of course.
Of course, the one and only.
And I learned then what it was like to start a trend. I remember what it felt like, the pride in it, but I also know that we're a part of that too. We start the trends. We make what's cool. So fashion should be grateful for us.
That part.
Kelly, I was here for all.
Did she throw the mic after that in the audience and hit somebody?
That's all she
did throw the mic, but that was her mic drop moment.
That was her mic drop. Fashion should be grateful for us. Like,
period.
I know that's right.
She's
That was
absolutely right.
And Tina Knowles actually heard the shout out, and she took to Instagram on Thursday to reciprocate Kelly Rowland's love by saying, "My beautiful Kelly is speaking about the early days when designers would not give us clothes and we had to turn lemons into lemonade." So there was just a beautiful Black girl moment between Kelly, between Miss Tina. It was just a beautiful moment all overall in fashion and in Black love. Like, so shout out to Kelly and her husband for his speech, and Tina for just being Miss Tina.
Okay, being an icon in herself. Shout out to House of Darion. Shout out to all the things.
Darion. I know y'all.
Darion, we're House of Darion. Come on. Come on. But now shout out to Kelly because she can wear like literally whatever and look amazing in it. Like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. So shout out to her.
She's a good looking lady. Kelly Rowland. She's definitely aesthetically put together for sure.
I love how you said that. Aesthetically put together. Yes. It was.
That's all I have for us today. And do it for the culture. Do it for the culture. Hey.
Do it. All right, guys, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Hey
y'all. It's your boy Tris.
It's your girl Liz.
And I'm Shauna Don.
And we are
Culture 101, formerly known as the Millennial Masterclass.
We're the same old millennials.
And now we're pushing the culture forward. All right, guys. Well, it's time. It's that time of the day. It's that time of the show. It's that time where we got to say goodbye. But before we do say goodbye, we want to give another shout out to Miss Coco Gauff, new U.S. Open champion. Hopefully we'll soon see what her ranking is, and we wish her many more wins, as she goes down this path. We definitely want to give a shout out to the family of that young man that died that unfortunate Pocky chip accident. My gosh.
Horrible. Rest in peace.
Don't fuck around with those chips, y'all. Don't fuck around with those chips if you can.
It's not worth it.
You just don't. And then, of course, we also want to shout out Dr. Jenika Hardeman.
Doctor. I know that's right.
Also, again, we want to shout out Dr. Jenika Hardeman. Thank you so much for stopping by on the show and giving us all little nuggets of insight that you had and really, helping us out. And, so we're not frauds, okay? And we know this now. All right? That's all I'm going to say about that. Oh, and then, of course, shout out to Kelly Rowland, girl. Calandria. Okay? We see you and your mans and whatnot. Fashion icon extraordinaire. Yes, guys. But please remember to check us out on Twitter or X now, whatever the fuck it is, on Threads, on Instagram, on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, TikTok, Spotify. Yes, please check us out. Join the conversation. We would love to hear from you every time because we're always thankful that you're tuning in, and we appreciate. We want to reciprocate that. So,
if you have any questions, email it to contact@culture101podcast.com. We'll be happy to read aloud on the show and answer.
Absolutely. Well, until the next time, guys, I've been Tris.
It's your girl Liz.
And I'm Shauna Don.
And even though these fashion icons may change, the vibe remains the same. We out.
That's a dramatic pause.